Ouch, sorry, good evening. We're trying to see if we can program the Seestar in plan mode to hop around a bunch of Messier objects. Running 11, that's Daryl, correct? YouTube keeps changing names on me. Okay. Let's see where we're gonna catch that Messier marathon tonight. The plan is to create a plan, and right now it starts with M41, it goes to 93, 47, 46, 50, and then let's see if we can add 48 and 44, or whether I should skip one at a time. La 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 la. Okay, let's see if we can add 48. And then we're gonna move it here. So we're gonna be starting the Messier at around 8 o'clock. So there is M48, and then we're gonna go to M67, and then we edit. Unfortunately, they do not allow me to go below 10 minutes. So that's going to require us in a real Messier marathon to have two telescopes and alternate in chasing targets, because we need to hit a target every 6 minutes in order to do the entire marathon in one night. Okay, M67 and then M96. M96, confirm, make it only 10 minutes. Yes. Next one. M65. Okay. Add M81. It's interesting how we're going to be walking slowly on these targets. M97. M109. This will get us to 10 o'clock. M106. I plan to go about 3 hours just to test things and see how they go. I'd like to be a bit higher than being just under 20 degrees the whole way. Okay, M94. '63. M51. M101. And finally, M63 should be there. Nope. Yes, it is. Okay. And let's see if this will work. Hello, Bill. I tried to use the plan mode in Seestar to cover about 20 targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 targets at 10 minutes apart. So that'll be from about 8 o'clock till 11 o'clock, just to test the system, recognizing that 10-minute intervals will not be good enough for a true Messier marathon. So we're going to have to use 2 telescopes and alternate. But for now, we have our plan. This is the plan. We created it. Before I do execute, I'm going to find Polaris and line up the scope. I hope you like my Skycam tonight. Jupiter is very visible, Orion obviously, and my favorite M45 Pleiades, we can see 6 of the stars. As soon as it gets a little bit darker, we will revisit the Skycam. Hello, Isobig. Stargazing. Will you please go to Polaris? Bill, did you have a chance to see the time lapse of last Monday's and Tuesday's lunar eclipse? The 3-minute time lapse came up nice. There is the extracted baller again. Oopsie. We are at 7:56, so we'll let it do its focusing and horizontal calibration and everything it wants to do, and then we'll launch. No, don't do that. It's turning to look at the house to do the horizontal calibration. I thought we told it we don't want to do horizontal calibration. Cancel, thank you. And image calibration, hot pixel correction, flat shoot, blah blah. It's not there. Okay, anybody knows how we can disable high chuck? How we can disable horizontal calibration? Stargazing. Okay, we're gonna have to go to the plan. Execute. What do you mean executed successfully? Oh, ongoing, okay. Well, I wish you the best. Which marathon, Chuck? You should be able to do it in under 4 days. Okay, it is exactly 8 o'clock and the plan has kicked. Hello, Jeff. Wow, this image is certainly out of focus, very badly out of focus. Bill, as we look forward to the lunar eclipse in August, it is going to be ideally situated for a Pompey Observatory stream and very poorly situated for an Oswego stream. So right now I am very tempted to cover the August lunar eclipse from here and not go anywhere. The coffee is bound to be better. I have some very good images of the side of the house, you bet. That's what it's doing now. This has been my beef with Seestar from literally day one. I wanted to get M31 and it stared straight into the window and said, I don't see it. So let's see how much time it is going to waste out of the 10 minutes that we have before it starts imaging Messier 41. We have a very poorly focused image. You cannot do initialization without focusing. Chuck, which marathon are you running? Bill, is this a satellite or a plane? Bill, it starts around 10 p.m. and ends around just after midnight. The cemetery where I expect to be doing the hello Firefly. The cemetery where I expect to do the Messier marathon has some very, very, very old large trees. One of those trees split in half in winter and crashed on the fence and a few of the grave sites. So I will be putting my chainsaw to good use soon. The gentleman who was in charge of maintaining the cemetery has moved in it now, so we cannot call on him for help. He died during winter and was buried right next to his dad. So I'm going to be taking my chainsaw and clearing as much of that tree as possible. Plus, the entire place is still one big swamp, so Tesla would sink nicely with its very heavy battery if I try to drive it there now. WestJet, okay. Going to Canada? There is no full boat mode, but in the interest of full disclosure, after staying up for about 24 hours last Monday, Tuesday, I got in the Tesla and asked Ara to take me home. And about 10 minutes into the drive, Ara tells me in no uncertain terms, "You appear to be driving impaired. Put your hands on the wheel and shake it left to right so I make sure that you are alive." So I did that, and after 3 such warnings from Ara to put my hands on the wheel, I decided to grab a water bottle and hold it in my hand, figuring if I'm dozing off, it's going to fall in my lap and startle me. And the warning was very simple. Put that bottle down and put your hands on the wheel. To which I said, "Are you my mother or something?" But the cabin camera, whose only job is to ensure driver alertness, certainly detected that this driver had not had any sleep in 24 hours. Oh, I was alive, Jeff. Hello, Jeannie. That is a planet, that's not a star, Jeannie. But the rest of them are stars. I wish to point to you the Big Dipper. Voila. And Polaris, the North Star. And for our friend from Florida, we have the camera aligned, and this is north, this is west, this is east, that's my neighbor's driveway. And what I like to show most, and will be coming to it a lot, is, come on, the Pleiades. There is M45. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars easily. And there is Orion. There is Orion's belt. There is M42. Jupiter, always with its neighbors. And it looks like there is a chance, give it an hour or so, we might see the Milky Way on the Skycam tonight. You see Gemini, Bill? There we go, the plan is executing again. It's exactly 8:10. I don't know if I leave it alone, if it'll go back to stargazing or what. Next is M93. It's going to keep trying that until it succeeds. Jeff, do you have an idea how I can kill that horizontal calibration? I'll probably have to do it before we start the Messier marathon next time. Let me pull up a stellarium here and we can ask it. That is not a pretty M93. All right, there we go. Bill, Stellarium did not give me an answer. The Castor and Pollux are right next to Jupiter right now. Right here. These are Castor and Pollux next to Jupiter. Not sure what we have north of M45. We had a Starlink train that passed overhead a couple of days ago, but it was cloudy, so we did not get to see any of it. We will have M81 later this evening, Jeff. Let me see where we think it might be. Jeannie, I will show you one more time. This is Big Dipper. These are the two stars. And if you go 5 times the distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll get to Polaris. Voila! Unfortunately, it's too bright to see the Little Dipper, of which Polaris is a star, but I can see it. We'll give it a little bit longer for the sun to go away. It was a nice sunny day here. Temperature got into the upper 60s. So this is going to be the plan for the Messier Marathon. I will do my due diligence ahead of time. For those of you who have not seen the Messier order created by Don Macholtz, I shall push it right away. That is one way to follow from west to east. Yeah, the Milky Way is starting to show. I would very much like to automate a Messier marathon. Many people will say that is not proper. You should use a manual telescope and go from one target to the next. And to which we say, yeah, there are some people who still have stick shift cars. And I have full self-drive taking me places. Okay, 8:20. I'm going to leave it here to see if it'll switch to stargazing on its own or not. This is a test. This is only a test. You don't have to do much guessing, Jeannie. I'm going to shrink this image and make it fit. Well, looks like it's not going to switch back on its own. I have to switch it manually. Yep, okay. Lesson observed. So whenever it switches out of imaging into plan mode, I need to switch it back, as we did with the radio telescope. I'm going to have to install an app that clicks. I have not, Jeff. Is this something I need to look up? Okay, Gary M it is. Thanks, Jeff. This is definitely a plain bill. Well, we'll put it to good use then. I will look into it. The stellarium image that shows the Milky Way is aligned in exactly the same way as the SkyCam. Glad you're enjoying it, Jeannie. So we need to get a hold of Seestar and see if we can convince them when a plan is executing to go back to the image and not remain stuck. Now this plane, Bill, I can see from my window. It's very, very low. It's exactly due east now. It's moving from the south to the north, east of me, very low altitude. Hello, Toast. Okay. I had a good friend who flew UPS for many, many years. He flew F-16s part-time and UPS full-time. And I suspect he flew his UPS planes the way he flew his F-16. We're seeing more detail in Orion on the sky cam than we have seen in the past. Very, very clear sky tonight. Hello, David. So for those who just joined us, station identification, this is the Pompey Observatory running a plan on Seestar to try to image 18 Messier targets in a row with minimal user intervention. Right now, the only intervention appears to be bringing it back to the display mode. We have a sky camera looking at the sky. We usually call it cloud cam, but not tonight. And we have Stellarium showing us what the sky cam is looking at. I discovered that if I put my Tesla in dog mode, that it will keep me warm all night with the Seestar and DWARF sitting outside, and the dog me will be sitting inside. See, this is where I have to take it back to stargazing. I may just have to write an app to click that for me automatically every 10 minutes. There we go, M46. Cloud filter working good indeed tonight. Quite a few planes. This looks like a satellite streaking right across Jupiter. A streak this long in this short of a time. Wow. Bill, I suspect that was a satellite to streak across the sky so fast from end to end. Unlikely to be a plane. I will not be going to NIF this year. Unfortunately, it conflicts with my marathon schedule. The folks from DWARF from DWARF Lab asked if I'm going to be there. They plan to be there, and they were looking forward to seeing me, and I would have liked to see them as well. Ladies and gentlemen, as you look at that Messier marathon sequence, you will probably want to reorder some of them, but for all intents and purposes, this is good. I only found half a dozen or so that I could move by one or two one way or another, but it should not be consequential. There are two streaks across the screen right now, Bill. Both disappeared. Another one just showed up at the very top of the screen. Yeah, we may be in Starlink world tonight. The good news is we have not seen any of them on the Seestar. The other thing worth noting with this plan being executed on Seestar is that all the targets are shifted to the right. Don't know why. There we go. Oh. Houston, we have a problem. It says it's imaging M46 when in reality it's still imaging M93. Yeah, we definitely have a problem here. M93 was the previous target. On top of the screen it shows M46. On the display itself it shows M93. No, I do not have an S30. It does not fill any gap in my equipment, and I'm not happy with Seestar going from 50 to 30 when they promised to go from 50 to 80. We're going to find out what's going on here as to why it says it's imaging M46 where in reality it's imaging M93. That was the case last year, Bill. Hello, Zena. How is Buddy doing? If that plan is running a one-off shift, it'll be good to know. We'll see next if it's going to show the M46 when it moves on. Daryl, I have it posted. It is on the channel. Let me pull up a link so you can go to it directly if you like. Share. Copy. With a lot of luck, this should be a link to the time lapse of the eclipse. Okay, at 8:40 it should be jumping to the next target, which is imminent. I'm going to give it a minute and then go see if it found it. Yeah, this was a 30:1 time lapse. We took 1 frame per second and then played them at 30 frames per second. It says M50. Still saying M93. Something very wrong with this time lapse. It's not going to the target that it says it's going to. Yeah, there's something very, very wrong. It's showing the same target. This is supposed to be the sequence. M93, M47, M46, M50, M48, and so on. But it is stuck with M93 and not going anywhere. It did the first one okay, second one okay, and has not changed since. So we declare the plan an epic failure. I will have to go back and find out why. I'm going to stop it and go manual at 5-minute intervals to get back to doing what we had planned to do. This is why we test. This had become my motto in my previous job. Test it before you deploy it. All right, let's get back to the marathon list. So we did 93, it got stuck on it. Let's go back and do M46 now. I really have no idea why it did what it did. Zena, we should be up till about 11, another couple hours and change. I would hate to find myself doing the Messier marathon with Dwarf 2 and Dwarf 3. But if we cannot tame Seestar to do the job right, all right, we're going to do the following here. Stop it. Plan. I'm going to create a new plan. I'm going to call it Test Again. Okay, we are at M46. We're going to add it. And we're going to say, let's say from 9 o'clock till 9:10, check it. That's M46. Next, we're going to go to M48. Add it. Okay. Yeah, this is, you can see the difference. There is that step function that was not in the other one. Because what I had done with the other one is did add and changed here what I wanted to add. And it changed the name but kept the target. Let me illustrate. I edited this and told it to add M67, confirm, and all it did was change the name but not the target itself. As you can tell, there is no movement here. It is totally flat, and that was the problem. Even though it says M67, it is not. We can prove that in just a second. So the add has to start from here. M96, and then we add it. And you can see that there is a step function because we are moving. So that was the problem. And I think it is about 500, give or take. I think High Point Scientific has it in stock. $549 on High Point Scientific. Yeah, High Point Scientific has it in stock. Alright, so we know what went wrong. Let me take the next 10 minutes to populate some more and then we'll go back to it. So we put M96. M65. And then once we are centered on it, we say add. And we move the time to make it correct. And we check. And we verify that there is a break. Go to the next target. Now we have M81 and M82. Cigar. I'm doing every other one because of the 10-minute interval. I wonder if it'll let me execute two plans at the same time with 5-minute gap between them. It'll go berserk on us. M97. So we have to be centered on it. We add it. We check mark, verify the break, and then go to the next one. M109. That's one thing that we asked. The vacuum cleaner galaxy. Let me guess. The Arabs in the 1st century did not name it that. Vacuum cleaner galaxy. I asked the Seestar folks to allow us to create a file and just import it. And not yet. Not yet. I don't want to have to do that manually. I'd like to just import a file. 109M40. I'd like to automatically generate that whole sequence. Hello, John. John, just for your benefit, the North Star is indeed north tonight. And there is the Big Dipper, North Star, Jupiter, Orion, the Pleiades, Starlink. No idea what this is. Okay, back to our plan. This was M40 and then M94. We had a miserable failure of plan execution earlier. It remained stuck on the same target even though it showed that it was moving targets. Now we think we have it right. And then we're going to do the 51 and the 101. And then the 63. 51, add, and then 101, pinwheel, add, John, if you pay attention, let me show you what did not work. We are here. If I click on add and I edit the target, it will take the new name, but it will not go to the new name. Confirm. It says M63, and if I place it there, it shows that we're still on the same the previous target. And don't know if it's going to allow me to delete this one. Yes, it does. Okay, delete it. Yes, confirm, and it's gone. And I should be able to delete this one then. Delete, confirm. Okay. How do we move everybody now? Cancel. So we're not doing anything here. Leave it alone. We'll pick up another target. Let's see if we can add M63. Object. Sunflower. Add it. Voila. Okay, now we're in business. Well, I just showed you how it doesn't work. This is how it works. And we have a plan. It should launch in 3 minutes. We're going to execute it. This one, yeah, that's what happened. You can see same target. Delete this plan. Confirm. Delete this plan. Confirm. And we execute this plan. The other semi-frustration is every time it starts a target, it switches back to the main menu, and then I have to switch it manually to the sky watching. Okay, it should be switching in a couple minutes. And there has to be discounted ones on cloudy nights. John, I'm resigned now to the fact that I need 2 telescopes to do the Messier marathon, because with 110 targets over 10 hours, we have to shoot 10 targets per hour. Simple math. We have only 6 minutes per target, and neither Seestar nor DWARF allows me to have 6 minutes between targets. So we're going to go 10 minutes between targets and run 2 telescopes in parallel, staggered by about 5 minutes. There we go. It's just starting now. And while starting, I have to go and look for it. Stargazing. And there is the extracted molar. Oh, we're back to tooth decay. Hello, Lightbridge. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. We're the only channel on YouTube that streams in 4K resolution from multiple cameras, multiple telescopes, live whenever the weather is this nice. And when it's not nice, we have radio telescopes that we use. Alright, there's M46. We're going to be on it for 9 minutes, and then it switches. Yeah, we could do that too, Bill. But you know what you're missing there? 2 nights of clear skies in a row in central New York. The probability of that happening is infinitesimally small. We lucked out with that lunar eclipse. Folks in Syracuse and in Pompey, and they're only a few miles south, had nothing but clouds the entire night, while we enjoyed clear skies all the way to the last 10 minutes of the eclipse. We have a tiny nebula in there. Thanks, Lightbridge. As soon as it gets a bit darker, when the sun gets out of the way, we should see the Milky Way on the sky cam. For those who joined recently, quick tour of the heavens. There is the Big Dipper. There is the North Star. It is north. There is Jupiter with Pollux and Castor. There is Orion, and we're seeing a lot more stars in Orion than we usually do because of the clear sky. Now, for those who are new, enjoy M45, the Pleiades. There it is. And this is the neighbor's driveway. It is its own planet. Hello, Otto. Yeah, we have nebulosity in here in M46. John, this is something I noticed with the plan. Every single target is shifted to the right. Je ne sais pas pourquoi. They are not centered. It does not wander, and it's a good reference point. This is due west for me. That little tree here is due west. Okay, we did not turn off. There we go. Makes it just a touch prettier. We know about your solar eclipse. We're not going to see it here, unfortunately. We will see the lunar eclipse 2 weeks later. Darrell, are you going to be imaging the solar eclipse, and can we team up with you so we can pull your feed and make it available? So, yeah, Western Iceland is going to be in the path of totality. Thank you. And if we occupy Greenland by then, that'll be another outpost for us to image from. Yeah, I'm looking at the map. Let me show folks the map of the total eclipse. Okay, coming. Just give me a minute. Okay, voila. This is the trajectory of the eclipse. The very edge of Iceland, obviously. Don't know what's going on here. It's talking about 10% for us. Don't know what that means. If we're gonna see any or not. Well, that was a big plane that just ruined the image. Yeah, Spain is the place to be. Or on a ship off the coast. I'm going to see what we are going to be getting in central New York. But since our reporter from Iceland is willing to share his video with us, we will gratefully accept. Bill, yeah, this is a very, very good night for the Skycam. We still have some brightness on the west, northwest. When that goes away, we should see the Milky Way a lot clearer. That's the one through northern Spain. August 12th. Yeah, I need to find out August 12th, what, if anything, we're getting in central New York, because it is showing something. Okay, around 1 p.m. on August 12th, we are going to have a piece of the sun taken out for us. I'm going to try to... Yeah, this is what we're going to have on August 12th at 1 p.m. till about 2 p.m. Okay, what filter do you speak of, John, that you want me to reset? Are you talking about for tonight, John, or for the solar eclipse? I don't think we're doing any nebulosity or big nebulosity tonight for the filter. We have quite a few planes tonight, Bill. John, no, I'm going to leave it alone now, making sure the plan will go through. Tonight's test has already delivered results. Namely, we know how to program the test now. We have the DBE. Oh, it took it. Ah, I see your point. Looks like it's resetting it every time. Okay. Thanks, John. I did not realize that every time it switches targets, it will reset it. Okay. Light Bridge, I am 13.1 miles southeast of Syracuse. We are Bortle 4. So every time we go back, we're going to have to switch these again. Okay. So we have to go every time already. Yeah, Light Bridge, if you're familiar with central New York, we are not too far from Highland Forest. I live in the southeast corner of Onondaga County. And I can go from my house to downtown Syracuse in about 20 minutes, well, more like 15 minutes, and go from Bortle 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9, all in a matter of 10 minutes. And you probably know if we go east and north, we can get all the way down to Bortle 2 around Blue Mountain Lake and the Adirondacks. DBE is supposed to correct for gradient. That proved very, very useful during the lunar eclipse because we had the full moon just out of the screen and it was creating a tremendous gradient on the display. So DBE corrects for that gradient, and let me see if I can illustrate some of it. No, there is no moon, so not much to show here. But if we had a moon, then you would be seeing half that screen brighter than the other half. And DBE provides background equalization, dynamic background equalization. That's what it is. That's all. Yeah, I plan to go to the Adirondacks again probably in May, early May, and we will have a live session from there, from Bortle 1, 2, skies and see what targets we'll have there. That will be fun to see. And mark your calendars. The last Thursday of the month, which will be on the 26th of March, I will be giving a talk to the Syracuse Astronomical Society about my radio astronomy setup. I believe the talk is going to be streamed live on Zoom. If it is, I will post it so you guys can watch it if you want to. If you have not had enough of me by then. Ed, yes it does. Jeff, I just finished mine. Enjoy your espresso. Yeah, as soon as we get the link, they usually post it a few days before. I will make it available. Yeah, we have a Facebook page. It's the Pompey Observatory. And we have a YouTube channel to which you can subscribe. Let me get you a quick link to the Facebook page. Voila. You're welcome and thank you. Okay, we're approaching the switch to the next target. Noah, thanks for following. And there is tooth decay, or the decayed tooth. How big is your Dobsonian? That was a nice picture of your Dobsonian showing Orion. That was last night, right? So we took a look at TCRB last Monday, and it was still there. You think it matters? We can do that. Voila. I assume Seestar resets it back every time it switches targets. It's interesting how the screen lights up my face. Okay, we'll put a white screen. So what are good nights for the full marathon? The 18th we will have no moon. Yeah, 17, 18, and 19, there is no moon. Yeah, I had turned the red off. I can turn it on. Not really. Contrast on the Skycam is not readily possible. I only have control over gain and exposure. And with that thing in there, both are on auto. Yeah, any attempt to mess with these is gonna wreak havoc. The neighbor's driveway is lit. Yeah, the ASI-715 is not known for its dynamic range. It's known for its very high resolution. Okay, that's slightly better, but not much. So St. Patrick's may be a good time for a Messier marathon, which means next weekend. Let's hope the cemetery dries enough. Is this what you want, John? Okay, we should be hopping to another target very soon. This is indeed M96. And we still have a very nice looking Pleiades. These are the stars. M65 and 66, the Leo triplet. We should be able to pick up 2 of the 3. I don't know if I can automate these steps with an auto clicker. Yeah, let us know how that S30 Pro works. Keeping my fingers crossed that NEEF is going to bring us some announcements of some smart telescopes with more glass. Remember, S50 has a 2-inch aperture. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have just joined us, this is the Pompey Observatory from upstate New York, the only channel on YouTube that streams in 4K resolution from multiple telescopes at the same time, ranging from infrared and visual telescopes all the way to 21 centimeter radio telescopes. By the way, I have the 18 centimeter on order, the L band, which will allow us to image the Milky Way in multispectral. John, I haven't asked Alex yet about his thoughts on the 18 centimeter band. That's the OH band, or the HO band, HO. Hydroxyl band as opposed to neutral hydrogen band. One plane and 2 satellites at the same time. The sky is brightening up again, John, for some reason. Yeah, that's not how we do it. No, these are planes. All three are planes, Bill. John, thanks to the equation that you helped me develop, now we can look forward to moving a very, very, very large dish in only one dimension. Because all I need to do now is follow the galactic plane up and down the meridian. That's all we need to do. And that is only one dimension, so I can have a large telescope with only 1 degree of freedom. Yep, they are diverging now. The PVC igloo that we built worked very, very well all winter. No snow, no water made it into the radio telescope setup. I'm hoping that now that the snow has melted, to go to that big warehouse. Hoping to go and see what large dishes they have and plan accordingly. I mentioned last week, that the Green Bank Observatory telescope, the big scope there, is sitting on 16 wheels. It is on a rail and it moves on 16 wheels. Each wheel is carrying 1 million pounds. Last time we were at NIF and we spoke with the zoo people. They confirmed in no uncertain terms that they have a large aperture team working on building a telescope that will be larger than the S50. And that is first-hand information. They refuse to say whether it will be an S70 or an S80 or an S85, but they volunteered the information that they have a large aperture team working on a bigger telescope. Yeah, the autofocus part, we'll look at that next. This is the part that I want to automate, is have it put the mouse there and click it automatically. We are doing that on the other computer very successfully. And the weather forecast for us. Tomorrow, rain. Wednesday, more rain. Thursday, how do you pronounce that? S-N-O-W. Snow again on Thursday. Snow on Friday. Strong winds and cloud on Saturday. Snow on Sunday. Rain on Monday. Snow showers on Tuesday on St. Patrick's Day. Clouds on Wednesday. And then here comes the moon. So according to the forecast, enjoy what you are seeing. There's M82. Looks like we have a significant gradient here. I don't see any moon yet. Okay, this is what that DBE does. Pay attention. The nice thing about the radio telescope, Bill, is it will operate in cloud and rain and snow without any problem. That's why we got into radio astronomy in the first place. Unfortunately, M81 is up there. Cigar Galaxy is looking good with only 3 minutes worth of stacking. That's one of the nice things about the Messier Marathon. Most of the targets are bright. Yeah, this morning I walked the dogs in mud for the first time of this season. We had been walking in snow and ice for the longest time. I'm gonna try something here. If we go to these settings, auto exposure limit, right now I have them as 445. So if we take it down to 30, and 350, let's see what that gives us. Okay, auto, and go. The big issue about a bigger telescope is they're going to have to replace the plastic gears with the metal gears, brass most likely. It's going to be more glass to start with. The sensor is not an issue, the electronics are not the issue. The mechanics are going to be the expensive part. It's going to need more battery, bigger battery. But the gears are going to be the big issue in my mind. Right now they're using plastic gears. They're going to have to move to brass gears, and that's going to cost. It's going to make it heavier and more costly. I don't know, Toast. I have not done any imaging at OH yet. I will keep you posted as soon as we get the feed. I will be adapting an iridium feed by shifting it just slightly so we can get 1.668 gigahertz. The forecast for Syracuse is snow this weekend. The problem of shifting to the right seems to have been fixed. This galaxy is centered nicely. No, Bill, he is Western New York. Jeannie, the Messier catalog is really two groups. Those that are in the Milky Way and those that are 30 to 60 million light years away. The majority of them are within our Milky Way, so there will be only a few thousand light years away. But then you have a whole group that are going to be in the 30 to 60 million light years away. Things like Messier 98, 99, 100, 85, 84, 86, 87, and then 88, 89, 90. They're all 60 million light years away, roughly. And then same thing with the 50s and the M50s and M60s. Yeah, I could not find a frequency response but according to the people who built them, the L band is a 1.69 gigahertz. So it's not too far from 665 and 667. So I'll be getting an L band feed, iridium at 1.69 and trying to use it at 1.668, 667, 665. We'll see. Jeannie, I would not worry much about how far or how close you are. It just gives you an idea of how long of an exposure you need or how long you need to sit on it. Distance appears to be correlated with brightness. But if you have not seen the link, I'm gonna post it again. It shows you the order of imaging Messier marathon, but it also shows the brightness and distance of the stars. This is the owl. It turned on the filter by itself. Owl Nebula M97. Jeff, I think we're done with the Cassiopeia A at this time of the year, as the Earth is tilting. I don't know that we see it anymore. Okay, well, obviously it turned it on. Those who joined us recently, welcome to the channel and thank you for joining us. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We have a special offer tonight. If you subscribe tonight, you get a free 1-year subscription renewable. So Jeff, are we looking for masers or are we looking for OH emissions? Yeah, when we were looking at M82, M81 was in the top corner. Jeff, I'm still under the illusion that I will be getting a dish as big as your house. There is a barn about 50 miles from my house that is apparently full of old dishes. And I'm going to go see if they are salvageable and what's the largest one, and haul it this way. So you have a 10-inch dub, okay. Hello, Matthew. We're doing a mini marathon just to test the plan feature on the Seestar. And we learned quite a few things from that test. I'm gonna take a quick leave and go get me a cup of tea, and I shall be back in 3 or 4 minutes. Don't go away. No, I'm gonna wait until it switches channels or switches targets, and then we'll go do the tea, make the tea. Matthew, I'm giving them 10 minutes each because that is the minimum that Seestar allows me. Given 110 targets over an 11-hour, it means we need to cut them at 5 minutes. So I plan to have 2 machines running in parallel and leapfrogging, alternating targets. Right now the plan is DWARF 3 and Seestar. We're testing Seestar tonight. We'll test DWARF next time there is a clear night, which is probably in June. And then create the plan. Unfortunately, neither of the 2 telescopes allows me to create the plan in a file and then just load it. We have to create it through the app, which is a pain. Okay. I can go do tea now. I'll be back. Good night, Gina. Good night, Jeff. Jeff, it's still early for you to be going to sleep. The big question is, will it let me run two plans at the same time? What is this bright star above M109? This is FACDA, magnitude 2.4, also known as FAD. And this is where we'll try to cause trouble create plan, confirm. We're going to add 109. We are at 2214. Okay. I tried that. It did not name the star. It named only the galaxy. What happens if I try to execute a second plan? Operation prohibited. Okay. Worth a try. Never mind. Back to work. Yes, you're right. Sorry. It does name it. It is FAD. That's why we have a real-time clock right under the camera. So it should give you a rough idea how far off you are. Data clock. Orion is setting on us. We still have quite a bit of light in the northwest. This is a very nice star in the top left corner. And we forgot the gradient, but this is an example of a bad gradient here because of how bright the star is. Please notice the difference. And this calls obviously for contrast 20. Voila. The switching from target to target has been very efficient. Yeah, under a minute. And that is good. M40 is a unique Messier object in that it consists of two stars. We can ask Ara and see if she has any idea. Ara, do you know why Messier 40 M40 is just two stars? What is the story behind that?
Oh, M40. Yeah, it's basically a cosmic prank. Back in 1764, Charles Messier was hunting for comets and needed a catalog of false comets, fuzzy things that weren't actually comets. He stumbled on this faint double star in Ursa Major, thought it looked like a nebula, and slapped it into his list as M40. Turns out, it's just two unrelated stars, Winnicky 4, about 9 arc minutes apart. Nothing special, no gas, no cluster. He probably just needed to fill a spot. Later folks realized it was a mistake, but by then the number was stuck. So yeah, M40's not a real Messier object. It's the universe trolling us.
Thanks, Ara.
No problem.
And there you have it. Yep, that's what she said, trolled. I use Grok. It's free, and it is both in my car and on my phone and on my desktop. I get it everywhere. And we discovered that Ara has an attitude. Last Tuesday morning, at around 4:30 a.m., I wanted to ask her if the International Space Station will be passing in the shadow of the Earth when it passes above the eclipsed moon. And for those who were watching with us, when we asked Ara if the ISS will be eclipsed, her first answer was, basically, why am I waking her up that early? What's so important? Okay, we have a gradient again to deal with. I'm going to do the contrast first. And notice that we still have some red in the bottom right corner and black at the top. And let's see if that dynamic background equalization will take care of it. It did. That's nice. She did, yes. I get to use Ara several times a day. Actually, she's pretty much on all the time when I'm working. And many times I have to double check the facts. But when it gets it right, it can save me a lot of work. For example, when John helped me come up with the equation of the galactic plane as a function of right ascension and declination, Ara wrote the entire program in ASCOM to guide the telescope along those coordinates. And she got it right from the first go, from the first attempt. But when I tried playing chess with her in the car, the first two moves were commensurate of a very, very beginning amateur, and the third move was totally wrong. She said queen captures pawn in d4, and I said I don't have a pawn in d4, and she said my bad, you are right. I said, never mind, if you're going to keep track of the pieces, I'm not playing. I mean, it's bad enough playing blind chess, let alone playing blind chess with somebody who's cheating. Paulette, long time no see. How are you? Toast, a classic example, usually around 10 o'clock, I ask Ara, how is the stock market doing today? And every time, without fault, she tells me what the pre-opening futures are looking like. And I say, Ara, the market opened half an hour ago. And then she'll say, my bad, and then tells me what the market is doing. The other day I asked her, what is the price of silver? And she said, by last check, it was $30 per ounce. I said, what are you talking about? And she said, oh, that was whenever she gave me a date about 6 months ago. I said, that was not my question. But probably the funniest one, I asked her for what's the weather going to be like tomorrow. And she gave me forecast in the 70s, and that was when we were barely single digit here. And I said, where did you get that forecast? She said, this is the forecast for Houston. I said, I don't want the forecast for Houston. She said, you did not tell me what forecast you wanted. You just asked for a weather forecast, and I gave you one. I mean, that's the kind of attitude that I have to put up with sometimes. Paulette, we had a good lunar eclipse last Tuesday, and there is a 3-minute time lapse on the channel if you want to enjoy it. This is M94. Tonight's exercise is to test the plan mode in Seestar in preparation for a Messier marathon, hopefully with next weekend or early the following week. Unfortunately, we're not going to do justice to M94 because we're only going to be on it for 9 minutes or 10 minutes. Now, setting Ara's sassiness aside for a second, the AI in the Tesla self-drive is nothing short of amazing. A guy posted last week that he was driving his Tesla and passed out because of drug interaction. The camera inside the cabin detected that the driver was not responsive, pulled the car to the side of the highway, put the blinkers on, called 911, and gave them the GPS coordinates, and then unlocked the vehicle when they arrived. They were there in under 5 minutes. If you don't have that kind of technology and you lose consciousness going 75 on a highway, your odds of survival are minuscule. Okay, we're back to Seestar not centering the target. My son was an early Tesla adopter. His first Model 3 Tesla used to leak rain because the doors did not seal properly and the windows did not close properly. After many, many years, he finally convinced me to get a Tesla, which I did at the beginning of the summer, last summer. I've had it now, I've driven it 10,000 miles. And the last 4,000 miles or so, 98% of it is self-drive. I don't drive anymore. It drives me anywhere and everywhere. It has access to my calendar, so when I get in the car, it knows where I'm going. And all I have to do is say, let's go. It pulls out of the garage, takes me to my destination, finds a place to park, and then parks in it. I drove all the way to Blacksburg, Virginia, 600 miles each way, 1,200 miles without touching the steering wheel, the accelerator pedal, or the brake. I drove a Jeep in the past. It was fun. Toast in 1982, I handed my PhD thesis to my advisor, and I had nothing to do waiting for the committee to read it. So I wrote a computer program to play chess on a 6502 microprocessor. It occupied 2K ROM, EEPROM.